Good morning and welcome to the Street on BNN Bloomberg. I'm Roger Peterson. Thank you very much for joining us today. Coming up on the show, Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth, will be joining us for the hour. And we want to hear from you this morning on First Call. Reach out with your questions on North American large caps, and we'll have Jeff answer as many of them as he can at the end of the show. The number to call, 1-855-326-6266. We'll open the phone lines in about a half hour. And our email address, if you want to go that route, firstcall@bellmedia.ca. Now, some of the stories we're tracking for you in the BNN Bloomberg newsroom. Oil prices are climbing again, up more than almost 5% now, really, closing in on $95 a barrel after conflicting statements from U.S. and Iranian officials reduced hopes for progress in ending the war. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iran to get serious about negotiations or face the consequences, Trump says. Iranian negotiators are, quote, begging the U.S. to make a deal to end the war. However, officials in Iran say they have no intention of having talks with the U.S. The CEO of Air Canada has apologized for his English-only condolence video following the fatal crash at LaGuardia Airport. Michael Rousseau says, quote, despite many lessons over several years, unfortunately, I am still unable to express myself adequately in French. He added that he is saddened that his inability to speak French has shifted attention away from the grief of the families. The apology comes after Prime Minister Mark Carney called the lack of French a very disappointing thing. Rio Tinto has shut down its last diamond mine, ending more than 50 years in the diamond business for the world's second largest miner. The company confirms that the Diavik mine in the Northwest Territories has produced its final batch of stones. The closure marks Rio Tinto's complete exit from diamonds as it shifts its focus to core commodities like iron and copper and aluminum. And now our top line story, stocks and bonds falling globally, is growing uncertainty over Iran's willingness to engage in talks for a ceasefire in the Middle East sent oil prices higher. For more on the conflict and the impact on the markets, let's turn to our guest for this hour, Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth. Jeff, thanks as always for joining us. Another day this week was shaping up that there was a lot of optimism, but took a quick turn. As I think people are kind of processing and going, maybe we were a little too excited about what was unfolding.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, the diplomacy is a strange animal. It's never easy. I always say war is easy, peace is not. And trying to come up with these deals, very complicated. You're also dealing with a regime that for 47 years has deflected, lied, delayed. This is kind of a bit of a pattern. And also something that has been mentioned quite a bit around the world is the fact that, like, who are they negotiating with? Like, who's left? Yeah. They killed 49 of 51 targets in the first 14 minutes of the campaign. Like, do they have the right guy, right? Yeah. And the other thing people have to remember, too, is there's, my understanding is that there's a lot of factions of the military that could flip if things got to a point where the public starts to come out in Iran, that 90 million people, those that want to see the regime overthrown, there's military that will flip to help back those. So people have to be careful, like, who's on their side, who's really not on their side, who's going to backstab them. And that power vacuum does change a lot of factors.
And the Americans and Israelis have to be careful with that, because I don't think anybody wants a civil war in Iran.
No,
I mean, that'll make the Strait, what's going on with the Strait right now, probably look like child's play.
Exactly. I think Trump's hope was this was going to be like Venezuela, where you pop out Maduro and his wife, who funny enough are back in New York court today. And next, you know, they have a regime that kind of bows down, kisses his ring. This is going to be a much more complex situation to get this wrapped up and put on a leash.
And also, it was, I mean, I can't believe I hope they don't believe that, because this was a completely different thing. I mean, they went in, they got Maduro, took him out, and they're giving him a trial. They didn't give anybody in Iran a trial. They just took them out. So what do you think is next for the markets? I mean, there was this optimism, and I think people have just been hungry for some positive news, weren't they?
Yeah, I think people are a little bit too emotional and desperate that any good news, they start to cling to it. Any bad news, they want to fall off a cliff. So I think people just need to pump the brakes a bit. Cooler heads will always prevail. This will ultimately end. Will it end in 1 week, 1 month, 3 months? It's unknown at this time. But also investors can be a little bit careful too. They don't have to go down the rabbit hole of oil. Is it going to do well? Is it not? What's happening with precious metals? You know, there's a lot of companies out there that aren't affected by any of this, as an example. And in real reality, it has more to do with oil, because for 47 years, the Iranian regime was basically sanctioned for most of that. So a lot of the world hasn't been doing business. Canada's a net exporter of oil. The U.S. is a net exporter of oil. It's not as if we are desirous of all this oil from Iran, like a lot of the other parts of the world are. So we're very fortunate that way.
But we do use the other oil from the Middle East, though, that goes through the strait, right?
Exactly.
And the rest of the world. I mean, Asia uses a lot of it, but we use a lot of things from Asia, so.
Exactly. And then you got California, which is this weird anomaly where they get a lot of actual fuels from other parts of the world because they need all these special additives just to be sold in the state of California. Just like they don't take Canadian lumber because our pressure-treated lumber doesn't have the right type of chemical in it. So there's different parts of the world that have different tastes for oil and what their needs are. And whether it's for actually plastics and things, or is it actually for transportation? Is it going to lean towards jet fuel? Is it going to lean towards transportation or diesel, as an example? So it does affect a lot of industries because really oil does make the world go around.
It really, and I think this is proving, which will be interesting to see what happens with green and renewable energy, I guess renewable energies. Do people look towards it more, or do they look back to oil and go, yeah, this is where we want to stay because this is what we need right now. And we know it works.
Yeah, I think a lot of the challenge with the renewables and the whole clean movement and green energy is the wind is great, but the wind doesn't always blow. The sun is great, but the sun doesn't always shine. You got weather issues and that. So you need those backups that can be part of the overall solution, but tried and true methods all the way back to nuclear and different forms of fuels and oils are still always needed. And then, of course, like we've talked about before, more than just transportation, everything we do with plastics, even the roads we drive on have oil in it. Mm-hmm. The tires are made to have oil on it. Plastic eyeglasses, contact lenses, IV bags, tennis rackets, tennis balls. All this involves oil. So oil really is in all aspects of life. And that's why this Hormuz Strait's got to get opened up and flowing again, because it really is going to start to be a pinch point for the world and what they need for that manufacturing.
And then bringing it back, we really also, we're talking about we don't know who's in charge in Iran, which is entirely possible. And we also don't know what's true. Propaganda is something that's been around forever. It's nothing new. And both sides are feeding us what they think we want, or what they think we want to hear.
Yeah, actually, a form of war is the information war. Yeah. And sometimes the media is used as a puppet, whether they know it or not. There was a lot of claims made about the Ayatollah's son that took over, or the Nepatollah, I call him, based on certain aspects of his life and that you kind of look at this going, that sounds a little strange to come out of the blue all of a sudden. So information war has always been a major part of war, because you also have to win the hearts and minds, not just of the country that you're involved with. What about back home and for Trump? He's got a midterm election coming up in November. He's rolling a bit of dice here. He's got a very short window of time. Americans want to see inflation down. Yep. They want to see gas at the pumps lower.
They want to see a rate cut.
Exactly.
There's a lot on the plate for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And absolutely.
So, we'll have to see who can outlast, because I know there's been talk Iran can go longer with this, but if their oil's not fully getting through and they're sanctioned and they're still getting hammered on their, and especially if the U.S. goes after a card, which is, then it's all bets are off if they actually put boots on the ground there, isn't it?
Well, card does about 90% roughly of all of Iran's, not only just the processing, refining, and then out to the island where it gets exported to the world. The U.S. has already bombed literally anything with a military target on it, all the way down to a bicycle. They pretty much blew it up on that island. The question is, do they want to put boots on the ground and take that over? I think that could be a bit of a mistake. But again, Trump's trying to have he's got one hand, he's got a hammer. The other side, he's got a feather. He wants to be light on that because he wants that infrastructure in any kind of deal to turn back to the people, and he wants that oil pumping again because it helps him, just like he wants Venezuela pumping. Well, if you get the overall global price of oil down, it starves Putin a bit for his war in Ukraine, but it also gets, again, the prices at the pump, even back in America, a little bit lighter for people with a little more walking around money in their jeans, which will help them in the midterm elections.
Right. And it's Thursday. We'll leave it on that note there. Coming up, we'll take a look at the markets before the bell. Let's see how things are shaping up on the markets after a very green day yesterday. It is a very red day today. U.S. futures off today over concerns that potential peace plan may not be going anywhere. You can see Dow off by 0.7, NASDAQ 0.94, and the S&P 500 off by 0.75. In Asia, some profit taking there, and everybody in the red there as well. Nikkei off by 0.25, essentially. Look at the Hang Seng off by nearly 1.9%. And the CSI 300 off by 1.3. Heading to Europe, volatility continues there as well. You can see numbers dropping. The FTSE off by 1.34, CAC 40 by 1 point, and the German DAX by 1.5. TSX, the rally continued yesterday. We'll see what happens today. Probably a different story. But yesterday, up again, well above 32,000. It was up 1.38%, led by materials, tech, and industrials. Some of the winners and losers from yesterday. Boralex up 11%. Montage Gold up by 7.8%. Birchcliff Energy down 4.5%. And MDA Space about the same, 4.6% roughly. Taking a look now at the metals, they are off after an early turn the other way, but now down 2.5% for gold. Silver down below 68, off by 6.4%, and copper also going lower, off by 0.78 at 5.5%. Western Canadian Select spread still mid-teens, and it was down yesterday 2.47% to below 75 a barrel, but today. Take a look at what WTI is doing, and it's up 4.4%, over 94 again. Well, the landmark case that could set a precedent for big tech after a jury found Meta and YouTube created platforms to keep minors addicted. CTV's Joy Melvin has this report.
There were tears and hugs, grieving parents who say their children were harmed by social media, praising the California court that agreed with them.
It stops today. Big tech, your gig is over. Yep.
The court found Meta and Google's YouTube liable and negligent in a landmark trial. A young woman identified only as Kaylee sued over her childhood addiction, testifying it led to anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. The jury agreed, finding the companies negligent for designing their apps to be addictive, awarding Kaylee $6 million in damages.
There are so many families who've been tragically hurt through the addiction of social media. We've sent a message with this that you will be held accountable.
Meta's Mark Zuckerberg rejected claims that they target preteens for profit. The company saying,
We respectfully disagree with the verdict and will appeal.
It comes one day after a New Mexico jury also found Meta liable for failing to safeguard users of its apps from child predators. For parents who fought long and hard to protect their children, vindication.
Stop blaming the parents. It's on you. We now know that they were manipulating our children for profits while we were watching and trying to keep our families safe.
Several countries have put age restrictions on social media access. Canada's minister was asked about that.
Our priority is going to be to protect kids and to make sure that, we're aware of the harms and, we said all options are on the table, but certainly we're looking at all options, including those.
With hundreds of lawsuits pending, today's landmark ruling could open up the floodgates as parents demand tougher safeguards on social media for their children.
And that was CTV's Joy Melvin. For more on the tech companies and what they're facing, let's bring back in our guest for the hour, Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth. Jeff, get your initial thoughts on what's unfolding down there with those court cases.
Yeah, it's difficult. This is tough when you have, over 1 billion users globally, different cultures, different languages. It's very tough. Mental illness is obviously a situation out there as well. I think it's tough all the way around. And I understand it. Hey, it's my generation's cigarettes, right? It was addictive. Social media can be very addictive and luring, especially with those algorithms. So it can be tough on people. I know even for myself, sometimes I go on a YouTube safari. I'm down that rabbit hole late at night. Next, it's like, where did 2 hours just go? Whether you know it or not, because it's important. But, it wouldn't be such a bad problem with addictiveness if it wasn't, like if it was addictiveness on STEM for kids where they're learning math and stuff, it would be great, like it is kind of in China.
That's the unfortunate part with social media. And because my son, for the longest time, he would pull things up, and I'm like, where did you learn that? And he said it was on YouTube or it was on. And it's the greatest library that's ever existed, right? Is the internet. It's also the greatest danger that's ever existed because it's the internet. Yeah. So it's interesting to see with this because there are benefits to it. But I mean, these kids, especially younger people, like this 20-year-old woman who was suing Meta and Alphabet, the 20-year-old, I mean, she's come through the pandemic at an age that was extremely challenging. I mean, a lot of kids struggled through that, and they're vulnerable right now.
Yeah, and it's also at a time in their life where they're trying to find themselves and to try to figure stuff out. And it's very tough when they look on the internet. It looks like everybody else is having a party. Everybody else is living their best life when most of that is curated. And that's very difficult sometimes for young people to understand the difference between reality and not. And it can really weigh on young people, especially if they have mental health challenges and then they're feeling the weight of the world. So hopefully they'll come and maybe curb some of their strategies that they're using, especially Meta, be more inclusive. But they have to be careful. It's a tough thing. And then parents really should be more involved with social media. But that's also tough.
But it's so
too.
hard. I mean, you can put the filters on, you can put the parameters on. We've had people on with apps that will limit it. But also the algorithms. I mean, you have to watch. You watch one video, and all of a sudden it's taking you down a rabbit hole that maybe you didn't plan to go on. But the algorithm says this is where we're taking you. And there's no filters on the internet, and there's no filters on a lot of these social media platforms at times.
Yeah, and then you have other countries.
Maybe there is they do have to kind of stand up and acknowledge some of that.
Yeah, and you and I talked about earlier with military psyops and how information wars work. Like you had TikTok, you watch the American TikTok and it's twerking in the Tide Pod challenge for kids. And then you look at the same TikTok in China and it's STEM and it's about helping kids learn and do actual, beneficial things. So I think overall it's a good thing. I say social media is like a superpower. It can be used for good or it can be used for evil. Yeah. So if they don't have that kind of good value and belief system built into a company's culture, it can fall off the rails rather quick. So hopefully these companies will step up and do the right thing and make it a lot better for everybody involved.
But I imagine there is a fear, though, to acknowledge any of that because it opens you up.
Even for liability. So they have to deny, and deflect, which is unfortunate. But at least hopefully behind the scenes, they'll make some changes to their systems to make it better for everyone. Again, it's a tough thing. How do you take something with 1 billion people? It's hard enough for one restaurant to handle the customers they have in their restaurant. How do you handle 1 billion customers? And even YouTube has almost 1 billion downloads every other day. Like how do you police that and how do you perfect it? It's so tough. But hopefully with AI, it'll help it be able to police that in the future. But it's a tricky monster. How do you put the toothpaste back in the tube?
You don't easily without cutting the bottom off. Speaking of AI, I just want to get your thoughts on this. The chip sell-off that's happening right now after Google said they had a memory breakthrough.
Yeah, that's...
You're going... breathe.
This has always happened. It's happened, remember a year ago with DeepSeek from China. Everybody's like, oh, it's game over for NVIDIA, buddy. Now DeepSeek can do it faster and cheaper. It's cheap and cheerful. But nobody said was DeepSeek was just doing the Coles Notes version, skimming the top, getting basic information, or something like ChatGPT would dig down deep and like read an entire book, where DeepSeek was just reading the cover of each chapter, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So there's always workarounds and things. And also with Google's new chip when it came out, which is a great chip, they have a partnership with Broadcom as an example. And with that as an example, people didn't realize the power of that chip. But again, it's very one lane. So Google's new chip that came out about 6 months ago, also much less expensive than other chips. But like we talked about earlier, it's like hockey. It's kind of like a right-handed defenseman. It's really good at that role and position. Yet if you look at a chip like NVIDIA's Blackwell that's like 10 times faster than everything else out there, it has the capacity to be used at center, right wing, left wing, defenseman, goalie. It has these multi-aspects where it has multiple lanes it could do, and that chip could be adapted for other uses, where certain chips can maybe just be used to fly a missile, or a chip for Google could just be used for training. So people need to understand what you're getting. It's not apples to apples. It's not even apples to oranges. It's apples to car tires. They're so different in the chip world. Just like potato chips. There's every flavor out there, right?
Love salt and vinegar and ketchup. So Canadian. All right, we got to wrap it up on that note for now. We'll be back, though, with Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth, to see why investing in space is on his radar. Time now for On the Radar. We are back with Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth, and we're talking about space on your radar. Because it's just cool, first of all.
It's very cool.
It's so cool. I mean, I love nerding out with space, but there's lots of opportunities. We've decided we're going back, aren't we, in a big way? And everybody is, not just the U.S., everybody is.
Yeah, and it's great for investors. There's never been more space companies that are active, and some are profitable actually doing space. Obviously, SpaceX is going to draw a lot of attention this year when it takes its company public, and probably what will be the largest initial public offering in history. Could be $1.5 trillion as an example. That's significant. So that's going to garner a lot of attention just to that whole sphere of influence and orbit, I guess you could call it, no pun intended. But you got a lot of great companies out there doing a lot of interesting things with LEOs, that's low Earth orbit satellites. So there's a lot of great things. And you got Elon Musk in there with Starlink, but there's a lot of opportunity in space, not just here, but now on the moon. Elon Musk has now redirected his attention from kind of colonizing Mars. First, he decided that maybe we should start on the moon and do some activities there before he starts to head to the frontier of deep space.
Well, I mean, we got to start somewhere, I guess, right? Where's the money to be made? How do you make money with space right now? I mean, satellites, obviously, but what's the money in it? Once they're up there, what are you doing with them?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of companies are evolving very quickly and pivoting. I'll give you a great example. There's a company called Planet Labs as an example. They actually started as a company that was there more for the green movement. It was there to take pictures from space. They originally set up out of India, not an Indian company, but launched out of India, 88 Dove satellites, the size of small mini fridges there. And its job wasn't to look into space. It was to turn around and look at Earth and take pictures of every square meter on Earth every day to showcase whether the rainforests in Brazil were actually corroding or were they lush and green, what was happening with the Arctic melt or glaciers melting faster, is the Great Barrier Reef in Australia being harmed. But then it turned into a for-profit center. Governments wanted it for spying. Companies wanted it for recon versus their competitors for, say, oil storage facilities, whether the facilities were full or not, can only be kind of exposed from space. Because a lot of those oil containers actually have a floating lid, so they can see these house-sized storage facilities, whether they're full or they empty, as an example. So that kind of intelligence is interesting. So you've got companies like that. You've got others that just want to help streaming services and communication. And frankly, our cell phones won't be quite as needed as much, as a lot of that will be done through satellite now. A lot more efficient. It means you're not going to be down. I remember last year I was in Vietnam for business, and half the time my cell was getting no service. So I had no GPS, didn't know, is this taxi driver taking me in the right direction or not? So having that kind of 24...
Amazing how dependent we've become on that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Even just 50 years ago, you'd be in Vietnam going, woo, where are we going?
Yeah, I mean, a paper map like this, like totally looking like a tourist. But so there's a lot of great opportunities out there, but there's a lot of advancements that are kind of really cool, but people don't realize there's actually a financial case for things like data centers in space.
I wanted to ask you about that. It sounds like one of those TV pigs in space from Muppets, but how does that work? I mean, they're massive. We talk about them on land, and they're massive places that consume massive amounts of energy. How is that even possible? What would they look like up in space?
Well, secretly, you just kind of clued into it. If you take, what are all the problems here on Earth? It's space, it's zoning, it's permitting, it's attaching to the grid. Let's say you have a whole solar array. But also there's a lot of challenges with overheating of data centers. That's the number of problems. How do you cool a data center? That's one of the other challenges. So all of a sudden you launch this into space, you eliminate the problem of overheating, because space is deep cold. So you don't have any problem with that. But also, if you're trying to do kind of a clean energy, whether it's nuclear or that, to power a massive thirsty data center desirous of electricity, when you're in space using solar, it is clean solar, because you have that orb in space called the sun that's your own nuclear power plant in the sky that runs 24/7.
And no clouds.
No clouds, no atmospheric interference, no ionosphere, no weather issues. And also, so you don't get this fragmenting of the solar rays coming in like you do on Earth. It's direct. And also in space, you can aim directly at the sun. It doesn't have to be angled, and you're there 24/7. When you're in the upper atmosphere, you can always aim at the sun. So you have sun all the time. On Earth, you got day and night. You have to keep flipping back. Then you have to take your energy and store it in a battery system. Well, in space, you don't really need much of any battery, because the sun always runs 24/7. And if you're not on Earth, the data centers run for you 24/7 with solar in its power. And it's about 6 times more efficient with the sun directly from space versus through Earth's atmosphere. So it does solve a lot of those interesting and important problems.
But it doesn't solve who gets to tax them for property taxes and everything else.
Yeah, probably Mr. Spock, I know.
We'll leave it on that note there. Still ahead, we'll hear from Boralex's CEO about the company's multi-billion-dollar acquisition by Brookfield and Lacasse. And our phone lines will open soon for our first call segment. Reach us at 1-855-326-6266. Send us an email, firstcall@bellmedia.ca. Oil prices are climbing again after conflicting statements from Iranian and U.S. officials reducing hopes for progress on ending the war. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iran to get serious about negotiations or face the consequences. Trump says Iranian negotiators are, quote, begging the U.S. to make a deal to end the war. However, officials in Iran say they have no intention of having talks with the U.S. The CEO of Air Canada has apologized for his English-only video for condolences following the fatal crash at LaGuardia. Michael Rousseau says, quote, despite many lessons over several years, unfortunately, I am still unable to express myself adequately in French. He added that he is saddened that his inability to speak French has shifted attention away from the grief of the families. The apology comes after Prime Minister Mark Carney called the lack of a French statement very disappointing. BRP reporting fourth quarter revenue and profit that beat expectations. The Skidoo and Sea-Doo maker increased its dividend to 25 cents per share, up from 21.5 per share. The company also lifted its 2027 revenue outlook, now projecting results above estimates. Quick look at the markets. You can see them reacting to what is unfolding in the Middle East, with the talks looking like they may not be going anywhere at this moment. So the Dow's off by 0.8, NASDAQ by more than a point, and the S&P 500 off by 0.9 roughly. Quebec-based Boralex has agreed to a takeover by Brookfield Asset Management and the Quebec pension fund La Caisse. The acquisition is valued at about $9 billion, including debt. For more on this, we were joined by Patrick DeCostra, President and CEO of Boralex.
We have a lot of great projects in Quebec, in Canada, in France, in the UK, and in the US, and we have to have the tool to finance them. And one way to finance them is to have debt, but also to have equity. And on the market, you're never sure it will be a line. So we decided to start that during the summer of thinking about this, and we start a competitive process with the board and a special committee in the fall, actually.
What was the debt situation for the company at the time?
The debt situation, the company, the debt is not an issue for us because we can raise debt on long-term contract because we're contracting with company like Hydro-Québec or ISO or in between 20 to 30 years. So the question is more to raise the equity and to be sure that at the time you need equity for the next years, we want to invest $7 billion in the next years, and we need $500 million of equity, which is a huge amount. And you're never sure that the planet will be aligned at the time when you do this financing. So that's the reason why going private is a great opportunity to have more predictability of the financing and of the cost of the financing of your equity specifically.
You have several projects, as you mentioned, on the go. Which one currently has the biggest budget? And will your timelines change, perhaps speed up as a result of the sale?
We have two large projects here in Quebec. We have two projects of 400 megawatt wind project on the Seigneurie de Beaupré. This is project of around 1.2 billion each of them. We own 1/3 of them. We are the developer of this project and the operator, along to Énergie and Hydro-Québec. So this is the two largest projects, and this will help to continue the financing of this project. But we have 7 billion to invest in the next 5 years. So it's a lot of other projects in Ontario, in the UK, in France, and in the US.
Can stakeholders expect any structural or operational changes as a result of the companies going private?
Essentially, what is giving to the company is the certainty of being able to finance this project. So I think for all the stakeholders, it's a good news because it will make Boralex stronger with two strong sophisticated financial partner with La Caisse and Brookfield, obviously. And Brookfield will also bring some, skills and scale in the business because it's a worldwide investors. So for the stakeholders, it's a good news. Boralex would be more present. There is no change on the head office that is in Montreal, on the leadership team, and on the team more globally. So this is also a very good news.
Okay, so you're talking about equity. You're talking about now having, I guess, the certainty to go ahead with the investments for the projects that you want to do. Do you expect any headwinds to get in the way of this deal?
Yeah, not really, because it's a deal that has been, there was a lot of interest on Boralex. So we ran a very structured and disciplined competitive process. So we end up with two great partners. I think it's good for all stakeholders. It's the best valuation also for shareholders. So really, yes, we have to go through a vote of the shareholder, but I think it's a very good outcome for them. It will crystallize value and help the company to go further and maybe to accelerate from the already ambitious strat plan that we have.
Patrick, as you know, the American president has been challenging clean energy. He's looking at older sources of energy to move that country forward. Has it impacted your company's North American operations at all?
Finally, it has accelerated things in Canada because, the situation with the U.S. has accelerated the investment in infrastructure. But on the other side of the border, the demand in power is going up and up. So there is still a lot of demand in the U.S. And since renewable energy is very competitive, there has never been so much project in the U.S. I was in Phoenix last week, and there is, this industry is really bubbling, and it's great. So for the next 5 years, there is a lot of opportunity in the U.S. despite the speeches that you were mentioning. So there is a lot of great opportunity, demand-driven.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? What you see the outlook for renewable energy for 2030? That is sort of the timeline you want to work with your company. And I'm just wondering, where will your customers come from? What are you seeing ahead as far as the demand for renewable power?
We have a customer here in Quebec with Hydro-Québec, where we have projects that we are already delivering, and we have some projects that we have to take investment decision. We have bid in the fall in Ontario for storage project. We're already the leader in Ontario on storage with battery storage. We have bid different projects. The award will be given in June. We have bid also some wind projects. So a lot of things in Canada. In the state of New York, we have some solar project to be financed and built, and we have won many projects also in the UK and France on the last tenders. So a lot of things in all jurisdictions, and that's the reason why we need to finance them and deliver them and be sure that we have certainty on this side.
Morello is speaking with Patrick DeCosta, President and CEO of Boralex. Still ahead, Air Canada CEO Michael Rousseau is looking at some serious pushback for his English-only message following the deaths of two pilots. And our phone lines are open. Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth, is taking your questions on North American large caps. Call us 1-855-326-6266. Email firstcall@bellmedia.ca. Air Canada CEO Michael Rousseau is taking some serious heat for his English-only message following the deaths of two pilots. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
Hello, bonjour.
That was one of two French words spoken by Michael Rousseau in a nearly 4-minute video updating Canadians on the LaGuardia crash.
Somber day.
A unilingual message the Prime Minister said showed a lack of compassion and judgment.
We proudly live in a bilingual country. And companies like Air Canada particularly have a responsibility to always communicate in both official languages, regardless of the situation. I'm very disappointed, as others are.
In a statement, Air Canada says its CEO wanted to address everyone affected and that French subtitles were used. Despite his efforts, his ability to express himself in French does not allow him to convey such a sensitive message in that language as he would wish. Rousseau will have to defend that decision before the House Official Languages Committee. He's been summoned to appear by May 1st.
Doesn't matter if you understand it, but at least you can read a screen in French, but he didn't do that, so it's unacceptable.
In 2021, Rousseau committed to learning French after an English-only speech before Montreal's Chamber of Commerce prompted protests and calls for his resignation, a situation that brought Rousseau before the same parliamentary committee.
I made a mistake by not learning to speak French when I joined Air Canada.
Quebec's premier wants Rousseau to resign. If he still doesn't speak French today, it's a lack of respect. PR experts say the airline, which promotes bilingualism, should have done things differently.
Then why couldn't they have also prepared for and had pre-written French language communication that he could have made an effort to communicate, to show that he had made an effort.
Air Canada is subject to the Official Languages Act, and so far, the Office of the Commissioner of Official Languages, Omar, has received more than 790 complaints.
That was CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver. Now for more reaction, let's bring back in Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth. Yeah, your thoughts on this? It's not an easy situation, but they handled it. I don't think they handled it the best way.
No, it could definitely be handled a lot better. Yep. Obviously, the company is bilingual. We're in a bilingual country in addition to this company. But at the same time, there's other ways it could have handled it in writing and whatnot. But also, it's a little extra insulting because the plane that had the issue on the runway originated out of Montreal.
And one of the pilots was French-Canadian as well.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate. But again, with leadership, you always look for someone that's honest, able, and competent. Is he hitting on all buttons? I don't know. It's a disappointment.
It's also a bit of a fail from their comms team, though, too, that there was no French version of that. Or, I mean, you heard from one of the politicians that, well, he should have read just a French version of it. But then it probably would have been pilloried for speaking only French.
Yeah,
speaking terribly, reading it terribly.
Yeah, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. So it's almost like, which of the two poisons do you pick? But he could have at least had practiced and had it ready, even in an earpiece or something, to do at least an initial statement in French that was apologetic and empathetic and sympathetic, and then go off in English from there. But I think he blew an opportunity there, and he blew a tire. That's what happened there.
And now we'll see what are the markets. I mean, this isn't the first time. In 2021, he got into it when he was appointed CEO, gave a speech that was almost entirely English. Air Canada's based in Montreal. The company has to be bilingual. How do the markets respond to this? Do they?
I think they brush it off. The reality is people have to fly, and Air Canada is the number one choice in Canada. So I think this is just a temporary story. But when it comes time for another CEO, I'd be surprised if they don't find someone bilingual next time. This will be burned in people's memory, not just with the stock, which has been almost flat for a year. The last 10 months, it's been dead flat. It's a company that has a lot of challenges ahead, obviously, even right now with the price of jet fuel going on with what's happening with Iran and other things. It's a tricky one, but no question, they handled this poorly, and his PR team should have prepared him way better for something that he knew he had to do, and he fumbled the ball before they handed it to him.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I brought the story up when we were talking about a friend was up for a job, way more qualified, not biased, but way more qualified for the job than the other person, but the other person's was French, so her French was better, and they were contemplating going with the person who spoke French better. But the only time she ever used English in this job was once when she was interviewed about getting the job by a French newspaper. They asked why couldn't she speak French. That was the only time she ever used French. I mean, if it's a danger, I get if they're apples and apples, but the one apple has more languages, for sure, that's a given. But how much does a language play into it when the base skill sets? Like, how important is a CEO to the company? Is the language more important to the CEO?
Because that's your leader, right? You want a leader that commands respect, not just demands respect. But he could have also said something initial in French. He just said, listen, this is such an important topic and dear to my heart. I don't want to fumble it in French, so I'll say it in English. And, we're deeply sorry in what's happened. This is extreme, unfortunate accident. So he could have handled it in such a way that he was kind of throwing himself on the sword up front, so everybody else didn't throw him on the sword. So he fumbled that he wasn't ready. And as a CEO, you think he'd be much more ready in a country that, he has these challenges from time to time with Air Canada. He should be smarter on the ball, and he should be tidying up his French anyways. There's always Duolingo or something, he's got a lot of opportunities to clean it up.
So in the background, it's hard to say, was it him telling the comms team that no, he's not? Or was the comms team telling him you should do this and he just ignored it? All right, we'll see what happens.
Great point.
Let's take a look now. Coming up, actually, sorry, I'm jumping the coin. We're going to jump in jumping ahead here. We were going to look at notable analyst calls coming up after the break. Let's take a look at some of the notable analyst calls and recommendations. TD Cowen analyst Sean Stewart cut the recommendation on Boralex to sell from buy. This follows the news Brookfield and Costa Depot were buying the company. PT set to Canadian 37.25, implying a 1.7% increase from last price. Jefferies initiated coverage of Robinhood Markets Class A with a recommendation of buy, saying it is set to benefit from rising retail trading participation, and its valuation is an attractive entry point. Firm is levered to rising global retail participation, and its rapidly evolving product set is driving increased revenue, diversity, and client retention. Analyst Daniel Fannin wrote in a note, PT set to $88 implies a 21% increase from Wednesday's closing price. When we come back, Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth, takes your questions on First Call. Time for First Call, and for that we head to the phones. And Charlie from Montreal, what's your question?
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Cheers.
I agree with your segment on space, which is why I have a position in MDA Space. It recovered well since the summer. I know why it pulled back then. Can you tell me what's been going on with MDA Space this past week? And is this an opportunity to increase my position? Thank you.
Yeah, everybody's loving MDA, aren't they?
Yeah, I was going to say, great question. Company is a great Canadian company. It's had its ups and downs. And the problem that it has is it gets a contract, and then sometimes contracts get taken away. If you remember the Canadarm, they're involved with that. Recently, actually, what's been a little more of interest, especially with the Iran war going on, is just the concept that they're actually getting involved with surveillance systems from space to do recon for militaries and that. So it's an interesting area. Planet Labs and others also do some of that stuff. So I think it's an interesting company doing interesting things. But space, you got to just be a little bit careful with this one. There's other ones that are out there that might be a little bit better as an option than MDA as an example. But there's a lot of opportunity within that. Decent company, obviously Canadian company, headquartered mainly out of Brampton, Ontario, but it does have some merit to it. But again, I don't know the caller. I don't know your own personal individual circumstances, so I can't necessarily recommend you buy more or less. But overall, you picked a decent company within a very exciting and interesting field. But make sure you keep your hand on the pulse of this one. Lots is happening in the world of space.
All right, and it's now down in New York. Any thoughts on that?
Sorry, say again?
It's now down in New York as well, trading in New York.
So actually, that does actually help its scope, because now you start to attract an American group of investors, where if something's just listed in Canada, it's kind of off the radar for a lot of Americans. Yeah. They think we're all in igloos up here, so you know.
We'll leave it there. I have a 2-story igloo. Okay, Pierre from Parry Sound, how are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm inquiring about what your thoughts are on Tesla. I'm sort of looking at a potential entry point, and with the price of oil skyrocketing, possibly more electric vehicle sales, and is it maybe a 3-in-1? Do you get a car company, a robotics company with the Optimus, and also an AI company? Just wondering your thoughts if this might be a good opportunity to step into it.
Great question. Right. So thank you for that. Elon Musk, as we've talked about before, I think he's a genius. Yeah. I don't necessarily love him as a CEO and an operational manager. I think he's too creative for that.
But he survives, though.
He somehow survives. I think he's made of Teflon. So it's an interesting guy. Actually, I'd like to expand on that, because the caller was actually very intelligent in what he talked about, because Tesla isn't just a car company. And it's not just about saving the environment. Some people like it for its status. Obviously, Elon Musk has had some challenges when he was doing Doge with Trump. A lot of people are keying Tesla, so it's starting to fragment some of its situation there. But they do have their new Tesla robots, the caller talked about, which are the humanoid robots called Optimus, coming out possibly as early as July. That will be a gigantic market. But I think I'd like to expand on that for something fun for the viewers. And again, everybody can decide if they like Tesla or not. For the record, I do not own Tesla at this time.
Okay.
But he's brilliant. What people don't realize with him is every company he's invented has one goal: Mars. On Mars, how will vehicles be moved around? Electric. That's Tesla. How will you build out everything before the humans arrived on Mars? Oh, the humanoid robots that don't take breaks, don't need a holiday.
Don't need oxygen.
Don't need a spacesuit, can handle the rigors and cold of space. XAI, who's going to design all of this in real time? Oh, it's XAI. And the Boring Company, the company that's known for like fun flamethrowers, is actually a tunneling company.
Right?
Exactly. So if you look at his plan for Mars, humans will not live on the surface. They'll live below ground. Everything will be tunneled. So if you look at every company he owns, you go, holy smoke, all of this is a piece to the puzzle to get humans to colonize Mars. So very interesting. They look all non-related, yet they're all sewn together.
That was a rabbit hole we just went down.
We did.
All right, let's get another call in. Max from Toronto, what's your question?
Oh, hi, Jeff. BCE was down quite a bit yesterday, even though the market was up. So I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on why that happened, perhaps, and also if you think it's still a hold.
All right, thank you for that. Just quickly, of course, BCE is our parent company.
Yeah, BC, great company overall. It obviously provides an essential service in a number of different ways. A lot of people are in it, though, for the juicy dividend. It does pay a dividend that's almost at 5%. When a lot of people like that dividend. As a business, good business, but constantly always restructuring like a lot of them. If there was a challenge for it, even within cellular networks, it's the constant build-out you have to do and maintaining of everything that can be costly, but it's a company that's actually pretty good at pivoting overall. As far as the last 24 hours of volatility, nothing special in relation to that other than the fact a decent company. And if you're looking for a Canadian company, there's not much else in that space that dominates. It's got $32 billion market cap, up about 9% in the last year, and then you get the dividend on top of that of almost 5%. So if someone wants something stable, something they could look at as an example.
All right, we're going to sneak in an email now. This one's from Ash. It says, "Hi, Jeff. What are your thoughts on Uber?"
Uber is an interesting one. It's one of those businesses that's like a coin toss because obviously it's created something very interesting. When you and I were kids, this would be, going in a stranger's car was not advised. Now it seems to be,
everyone gets in
an Uber now. But they also have Uber Freight that does transport trucks. They have Uber Eats delivering food. But at the same time, Tesla has a lot of plans for the future with their self-driving technology, which is in a leadership role that way. So people could even send their cars. If you drove a Tesla, you could show up at work and then send your car to work for the day for you as a side hustle with its self-driving capability as a taxi. So it would compete with Uber as an example. So there's a lot of competition there that Uber has nibbling, but Uber's been pretty good at pivoting. It's not a stock that I own. It's a company that's been fairly flat for the last year, but even the price of fuel affects Uber and its profitability for its drivers. So it's a difficult situation that way.
Okay, we'll wrap it up there. Jeff, thanks as always for joining us.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it. That's it for us here on The Street. Thanks to Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth, for joining us today. Lindsay Biscaya is up next with The Open. Trading gets underway a little more than 30 minutes from now. Have a great day.